Yeah, you read the title correctly. Jason X, better known as Jason Goes to Space, is straight up peak in my personal opinion. In terms of entertainment, it's the best one out of the 10 films. The movie knows what it wants to do and it shows. It's not trying to continue the lore of the Friday the 13th movies, which was a good thing because Jason Goes to Hell was straight buns. This was the first Jason movie I ever watched, so that's probably why I enjoyed more than the others. But this movie was a good time from start to finish. So we arrive in the year 2010, and Jason is a prisoner now for some reason. One of the guards gets the idea to cover Jason up with a cover, and the rest is history. Jason escapes and claps all the military guards. What I find funny is, why did the guard pick today of all days to do this? Let's assume this is the regular guard for Jason, and he's been watching him for the past X amount of years. Why couldn't you just look at the computer screen or something? Better yet, throw the cover over him from a distance and call it a day. This is a huge victory for Jason because he's been locked up for years and now he can go back to catching bodies. But have no fear because the Canadian baddie Rowan is here to clean up their mess. Jason loves chasing after women, so she was the perfect choice. She lures this man to the basement where there is a cryogenic prison, and she manages to trap Jason and completes the job. You could tell right from the jump she was a final girl. She was moving like Laurie Strode and Ripley in both brains and brawn. But for some dumb reason, and for plot reasons obviously, she gets right up to the window of the door and Jason stabs a hole in not just the door, but her as well, leaving them both trapped in a cryo state.
You stupid.
I take back what I said about her being a final girl. She gotta earn that title back. Fast forward to the year 2455 and a group of college kids and scientists come across them and bring them on board. They revive Rowan and Jason's being used for research in the other lab. Now everything seems to be going smooth. You got your character introductions, horror movie character stereotypes, even a greedy doctor. Things start to take a left turn because one of the students starts having sex, and that's one of the things Jason hates most. Even in the future, you can't escape the power of sex. With how advanced these people are, you would think they would have a device for instant sex like how Cyberpunk has BD headsets, but I guess they aren't that advanced. All it took was one stroke and this man woke up instantly. Not even the Undertaker rose that fast before. Jason is now in the future and is ready to catch bodies. First future body had to be special, and the science baddie had to go unfortunately. Jason disappears off the table and this lady turns around and not a sense of panic or urgency is on her face. I know my ass would have ran out that room as soon as he rose up and signaled every single alarm. Jason grabs this woman and throws her into the window. Had her looking like Martin in Bad Boys. Jason gets the idea to drown her, but he noticed she stopped moving instantly. That's because it was liquid nitrogen. Jason was thinking, damn, this water hits different. He freezes her face and slams it into the table. Had her looking like she took a punch from Mike Tyson. First kill in 400 years and he's already being creative. This is starting to look pretty good if you ask me. Jason realizes that his machete is gone and he picks up a new weapon. It's shinier and more badass. After getting his new weapon, he's already on the hunt. Activated Diddy's Freakometer to track down the culprits. Rowan tells Professor Lowe about how dangerous Jason is, even going into detail about what he was like while being locked up. Turns out they electrocuted him, put him in the gas chamber, hung him, even had the YNs hit him with the switch, but nothing worked because the nigga is a supernatural zombie. Whole time the professor's like, wow, that's crazy, knowing damn well he knew all this. Rowan notices Jason's machete and was like, I know y'all niggas didn't bring this man on board with us. Lowe's like, he's dead, you have nothing to worry about. Rowan tells him, nah bruh, Jason is really like that. Whole time while she's talking, the black dude's in the background listening to every word she's saying with interest. As soon as she said Jason is an unstoppable killing machine, bro was like, dead ass, and locked the ship down immediately and assembled the troops. Everyone is getting ready to meet at Lab 1, but Jason finds the sex bandits and stabs fake ass Wilmer Valderrama in the stomach for $1,000 in cash money. Sergeant saw that white girl with the blood on her face and said, nah, we lighten this nigga up ASAP. I want him Swiss cheesed up by the time we reach Solaris. While the soldiers were gearing up for combat, Jason takes a trip to a virtual reality. He claps a virtual monster and the two people playing the game. Jason thought he was doing drugs for a second, but once he saw that skinny white boy, he had the biggest smile on his face, grabbed him by the throat and was getting ready to chokeslam him straight to hell. But Dallas emptied the clip in him and told Azrael to get out of there. Now instead of doing the smart thing and getting the hell out of Dodge, this dumbass nigga jumps on his back and tries applying a rear naked choke. Are you serious right now? You saw this man lift you up with one hand and throw you across the room with ease and take multiple bullets, and you thought it was a good idea to try and get your lick back?
Fucking useless sack of shit! Get out!
Boy, if you don't get your fake Matt Riddle, bro, looking ass up out of here. Thankfully, Jason had the same thought as me because he got him up out of there immediately. Flipped this man over to his side and broke his back with one knee. Grabbed Dallas and slammed his face into the wall. Funny fact about that scene is that when Kane Hodder slammed his face into the wall, that was actually real and he ended up with a broken nose. That's why when Jason slammed his head into the wall a second time, his head was facing the opposite way. Jason's only been awakened for about 10 minutes and already has 4 bodies on him. And now it's time for Jason to face off against the grunts. Sergeant Broski, or as I like to call him, Angry Lance Reddick, is ready to end this nigga right now. But the professor wants him alive so he can make some money. But all the sergeant cares about is the safety of everyone. Which is what the professor should be thinking too. But bro wasn't hearing that BS and told Broski, "I pay you $500,000 just for you to let him live." Bro turned around so fast after he heard that number that he was ready to hop on it.
Hey yo!
Broski tells his unit, "Look, I was ready to clap this nigga, but the boss said he was gonna pay us a lot of money to keep him alive. And that's what we're gonna do, because MOB. Whole team looks sad, but Broski says, "Psych, let's light this nigga up and get paid." The grunts start finding bodies and a blood trail leading up to the cargo bay area, and as soon as they find Jason, they light his ass up. Even Jason was surprised that they snuck up on him. He disappears and ends up in the corridors, where this is basically Jason's playground. After getting caught lacking by the grunts, this man took it personal and started moving like he was Rambo. This man starts taking them out one by one, and with some of these kills, I'm surprised no one heard anything. They all split up into groups and the first body is Finn. Jason snapped this man's neck and went about his business. But this wasn't just a normal neck snap. He slowly snapped his neck in a way that hasn't been done in a horror movie since. Next victim was Condor. Now Condor was the Hawkeye of the group because he was overseeing everything in the area, which is odd because he didn't see Sven get his neck snapped. Jason tries clapping him, but Condor rolled out of the way and started piecing Jason up. Hit him with the crane kick, body shots, and a spinning elbow. Jason said, "Get that weak shit out of here," and just threw this man off the balcony, and he landed on the drill. Normally, Jason would be obliged to run the fade, but Condor's hands weren't as impressive as Julius's, and he ended it pretty quick. Gecko gets her throat slashed because her brother didn't help him save money on his car insurance. Now all while this is going on, Rowan is in the back telling them, "Hey, this isn't gonna work. Jason is really like that. Tell him to pull back." But Lo wasn't listening to none of that. One of the grunts actually got Jason. Bro lit him up and thought it was GG. Jason fell on a giant hook and couldn't get out. The grunt lifts him up and shoots him in the leg. Now instead of staring at Jason and emptying the clip in him, he turns his back and tells the Sarge to take his time. Jason was like, "I bet," lifted himself off the hook, and you could see the look of defeat in this man's eyes.
It was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.
Jason sliced this man in half and then proceeds to put Briggs on the same kind of hook he was on, leaving Broski all alone. Jason catches this man lacking and stabs him twice. Broski's a real one because he told Jason, "Nigga, it's gonna take more than one stab to put me down." And Jason actually listened to him. The grunts were dead, leaving everyone defenseless and easy prey for Jason. Now that Jason can do whatever he wants, he takes care of everyone else. Took out the pilot, took out Solaris, and even took out Professor Lowe, which was definitely inevitable. Rowan was like, "Look, we ain't got time to be crying. We need to get the hell off this ship." They decide that using the shuttle would be the easy way to do it. While the shuttle is being prepped for departure, everyone else is stocking up. Rowan discovers that Broski is still alive because the directors realize that Waylander isn't the black guy that they want to survive.
You're not that guy.
Jason goes back to the deck and claps Crush to stop them from leaving. This causes Kinsa to crash out and commit seppuku. The shuttle's destroyed and Jason's about to turn them into a pack. All hope is lost. But that's when KM pulls up looking like she was in the Matrix. Now when androids or robot sex dolls become a thing, this is how we want them. KM is an artificial baddie. She's the horror version of Android 18. Sue says he gave her an upgrade, but what he really meant was KM gets ready to shoot him, but Jason throws his machete right in her stomach and killed all the hype. Jason walks up to her body and gets ready to pull the machete out, and she rearranges this man's guts with multiple bullets that sent them flying all the way to the next room. Had Jason fooled. Even my dumbass thought she was dead despite her being an android. But real quick though, go back to Jason. Look how this man reacted before getting shot. This man let out the biggest sigh like he was disappointed. This man was really looking for a challenge like he was Goku. Bro was like, when will these hoes ever learn? KM does a front flip that sends her across 2 rooms and ends up in the bottom corridor. I'm like, that is one impressive flip. Once she catches up with Jason, she started moving like Dante from Devil May Cry. She started doing all kinds of tricks with the guns. Shooting from behind the back, hitting backflips, heel kicks, and side kicks. She really got a triple S combo on this man. Jason thinks he has her on the ropes, but Broski comes and attacks Jason from behind. KM shoots around Jason, and to him, he's like, man, she can't shoot worth a lick. But she was actually just weakening the wall behind him. Jason raises his machete up and she shoots his arm off. Jason looked at her like he couldn't believe what happened. She kicks him and the walls of Jericho come breaking down. KM pulls out the grenade launcher and goes straight to work. Shot his leg off and this man still tried getting up. Shot him in the rib and he still tried getting up. And then she blew his face off. She threw his machete into his chest and Jason was dead. Now if this was the final part of any other Friday the 13th movie, it might go down as one of the best endings. But Jason's in space and there's another plot point to be taken care of, so the movie's not over yet. With Jason dead, they can focus on finding a way to stay alive and get off the shuttle. The plan was to separate the walkways so that their chances of survival increase, and that's when the most ridiculous thing happens. Mrs. Voorhees had to have made a deal with the devil or something, because this is one of the greatest ass pulls in history. Because out of nowhere, all the tech in the already destroyed Lab 1 starts working. The reanimation table finds one particle of Jason's DNA and revives this man. But he's not going to come back looking like a bum. Nah, this man came out with the most immaculate drip in horror history. Metal mask, metal arm and leg, body surrounded by nanotech and black leather. This man was dressed for success. This was no longer Jason Voorhees. This was Uber Jason, which I thought was a stupid name to be honest, but it's not like Metal Jason is any better. So KM tried shooting him, and once Jason realized he was actually bulletproof, this nigga had the biggest smile on his face. She hit him with a kick that did no damage at all, and she told them straight up to their face to run because it's GG. Jason knocked her head off with one punch and was getting ready to clap everyone. But Waylander comes in the clutch and Jason tapped into a new mindset. I don't know what it is about black people in horror movies, but I swear, killers always go off with them. It's like Jamal Murray against the Lakers. They lock in every time. He knocked Waylander away and then proceeds to beat this man up. I'm like, bruh, why are you going off on this man? You beating this man like all of your bullies when you were a kid was black or something. But Brother Way got the last laugh because he blew himself and Jason up. And that should be it. Nope, this nigga's still alive. At this point, how do you not give up? Jason is chasing them, but they can't leave because the evac door won't open. So now they have to fix that. This is like Dead Space 1, when Isaac had to do all that BS while dealing with the necromorphs. While Broski's dealing with that, Jason is making his way to them and gets distracted by a virtual reality of Camp Crystal Lake. Jason starts getting them nostalgia flashbacks, thinking he's home, but he realized that it wasn't real and went back to work. That is before 2 baddies appeared out of nowhere and offered Jason some premarital sex. They get in the sleeping bags and Jason is the happiest he has ever been in all the Friday the 13th movies. This man claps both the campers by bashing one of them with the sleeping bag and then slams the other one into the tree. I swear, Jason with a sleeping bag is like John Wick with a pencil. It's an automatic triple double. Jason clapped him with ease and makes his way to the shuttle. But Broski closed the door on him and this man stares him down. I'm cheesing the whole time because the brother man once again wants to run the fade with Jason. I know Jason was in his head like, why do I always want to run the ones with black people? My man came back for that round 2 and Jason was obliged to give it to him. But unfortunately, we didn't see it happen because a big explosion happens. Now it's finally over. Nope, this nigga comes at them full speed ahead.
How are you not dead?
But Big Goat Broski comes in the clutch and stops that from happening. Both he and Jason go crashing into the Earth's atmosphere and ultimately disintegrating. And that marks the end of Jason X. One thing I liked about Uber Jason was how resilient he was. They threw everything at this man and he still kept coming back. Explosions, space vacuum, a VR reality, and the only thing to permanently stop him was a black man. Overall, I love this movie and you can't tell me nothing. I'd pick this movie over Jason Goes to Hell any day of the week. In my honest opinion, as long as a slasher film is enjoyable, I'd say you did a good job. It's rare when you get good slasher stories like Scream and the original Halloween, but let me know how y'all feel about Jason X and if you enjoyed it or not. Thanks for watching. Leave a like and comment. Share if you enjoyed. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.